Watch out! I think there's a bug in the matrix. Or, Toastmaster. Or, what's that? What's that? A butterfly. Imagine, if you will, it's your first semester of college, spring break, but you're not partying with the other students. Oh, no, 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 no. You are at home, absolutely stressed about the papers that you're having to write, because this has never been your strong point. But little do you realize that you're about to make a seemingly inconsequential choice that will change the course of the rest of your life. This, my friends, was a situation that I found myself in back in 2002. Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, my name is Ken Burwood, and I would love to tell you how I came to this very spot right here. To handle that stress, I took out one of my old favorite games, Quest for Glory 4, made in 1993. Long story short, I had a game-breaking timing bug, and I had to eventually pull out my old 25 megahertz Tandy to get past it. But in the meantime, I discovered Sierra's online community. Bunch of fun, creative people. I loved it there. I also met one of my best friends from St. Petersburg, Russia. Now, let's hop back to 1980s. English, reading, writing was not my strong point. I failed English in 7th grade, was in special ed for the next 3 years. So you can imagine that every time the idea of taking a foreign language class came up, I refused. I had a hard enough time with my own language. Let's now zoom over to 2004. UConn required that if you didn't take one in high school, you had to take a foreign language to graduate. Fair enough. I'm thinking about it, and I remember my friend, my Russian friend, and I think, oh, wouldn't this be great to take that and then surprise him? So I did. He loved it. Now let's skip on over to spring 2005. There's yet another requirement that I haven't fulfilled. UConn requires all of its computer science majors to, quote, take 3 classes at the 300 levels or above, forming a single body of knowledge. I know this by heart. At the 300 levels or above, forming a single body of knowledge outside of computer science. I felt a bit targeted, but to be fair, I also felt seen. They had a point. So now I'm thinking about this. And along comes an email from UConn about an informational session for studying abroad. And I think about my friend again, who I would love to see in person. Could this fulfill that requirement? Long story short, yes, it could. Let's move on to fall 2005. I'm on a plane, flying to St. Petersburg, Russia. Me, of all people, someone who never wanted to even visit a local city, going to study abroad for an entire year on the other side of the world. Now, I only needed to study abroad for 1 semester to fulfill this requirement. But in all honesty, I was doing this to see my friend. I used my studies to justify it, so I went for an entire year. This meant that I was going to graduate an entire semester later than planned. This also taught me a second lesson, that, hey, cities aren't all that bad. It opened me to the possibility of maybe coming to a city in the future. Fast forward again, January 2007. I'm interviewing for jobs to be a software developer, and I run into the idea of software quality assurance. Seemed really interesting, but this was a new job for this company. It wasn't even going to open until May, and it was not even sure if they were going to do it. But this really interested me. So I took a risk, and I turned down a software development job in Hartford, and I waited for that. This gave me some free time, and I started doing some online dating. Met someone up here in Boston. Zip forward again now, December 2007. I just got fired from that job for standing up for myself one too many times. But this freed me up to move up to Boston several months ahead of time. where I got my job that I had for the next 15 years, which allowed me to eventually buy my home in Medford, which eventually led me here to this very spot, speaking to all of you in Somerville. Now, if I had actually graduated on time when planned, I don't know where I would be, probably back in Connecticut, but I would have had a job. I wouldn't have been online on that dating site at that particular time. So I can tell you for sure, I wouldn't have been right here at this very spot. So thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, and thank you, fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Allow me to leave you with one last thought. Was that a bug that I ran into all those years ago? Or was that a butterfly? Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and let's take him off.